Hey guys, Adam here. Welcome back to the channel. Recently I've been playing with the shutter drag effect, which is not a new technique by any standards, but it is kind of popular and trending at the minute for 2025 in the wedding industry, especially amongst photographers, but I'm not seeing many videographers try it. So I thought I'd give it a go. I've been experimenting with it. It's a really cool effect, really simple, and I quite like the results that it can give you. So we're talking about slowing the shutter right down in camera, and we will get into settings, but I think it gives you a bit more variety with your footage and a bit more dynamicism, makes your footage more dynamic. And it's really simple to implement. It's something that you can take from this video onto your next wedding and give it a try. So the settings that I use, I film everything on a wedding at 100th shutter speed because I shoot at 50 frames a second. So what I'm doing is dropping my shutter down to 1/15th, and it doesn't matter if you're shooting at 1/50th shutter speed, that's fine, but dropping it down to 1/15th shutter speed I found is the sweet spot of kind of how it looks best for me. Obviously you could go even slower and you'd get a more exaggerated blur, but I think at 1/15th you get that nice balance. So 1/15th is giving me the motion blur that I want. From the examples that you've seen on screen, the implementation that I've done at my weddings has been for the dancing, for the night party, which I think works really great for this effect. And obviously by dropping the shutter down to 1/15th, you're able to let more light into your camera, and it's obviously going to be a bit darker at night time. So letting more light in means you don't have to crank the ISO as much, but as you drop your shutter speed down to 1/15th, just be mindful of you need to manage your exposure as well. If you were going to try this effect out during the daytime, especially if you're outside and it's bright, I'm thinking for portrait sessions it could look really nice and quite dreamy and ethereal. You could use it for confetti shots, but with it being daytime and already super bright, and then you're dropping your shutter speed down again, you could adjust your aperture to compensate that and expose correctly, but I'm going to suggest that you probably need an ND filter. I like to keep my aperture at f1.8 wide open all day, so if I was dropping my shutter during the day to 1/15th, you're going to probably need an ND filter. Having said that, I think that some examples of where this can work really well would be the portrait sessions, the confetti shot. Basically any time that you've got lots of movement, if there's not much movement happening within the frame and there's not and everyone's just stood around, for example, it's not going to look great, and it's actually just going to look a bit jarring, like you've just not filmed it very well. But when you start getting loads of exaggerated movement, for example dancing, for example the confetti run, or sparklers or anything like that, where there's lots of movement happening within the frame, then it can start to look really cool. When you take your couple for portraits, you could have them, hold hands and maybe go for a little bit of a run towards the camera and just experiment and play with it. But again, if you're outdoors, if it's daytime and it's too bright, you're probably going to want an ND. Obviously there's a risk versus reward element to this, so I like to do it during the dancing. I think it works really well for that part of the day. It leans into the story of that part of the day when everything's getting a little bit wilder and a bit hazier and a bit drunk, and this kind of effect can lean in and portray that story, and mixed in with some normal shutter speed footage works really well. So for dancing it's great, but what I would do after the first dance in the evening of a wedding, I would cover all my shots that I want to get anyway, all my usual shots that I need to get as much as content as I need for the film, and then spend an extra 20 minutes playing around with the shutter speed stuff. So there's no risk to that. You can just stay for an extra 20 minutes longer at the wedding and experiment and play with this stuff, because if it doesn't go well, it doesn't matter, you've already got your shots that you need in the bank. And whatever part of the day, get your shots in the bank first and then experiment and have a play with it. But fortune favours the bold, and if you're going to use it during a key moment such as confetti, such as sparklers, such as the first dance, maybe cover it with a second angle so that you've got it covered as a safety, or have your second shooter cover it or something, just so you've got it. Because if you attempt this and it doesn't pay off, then you've lost that shot. So that's where the risk element comes in. But if you do manage to get it right, then you're going to capture some gold. And I think it depends on the wedding. Never do it for the sake of it. Always do it as part of telling the story. Always do it with purpose and with intention. If it is a wild party, then of course it makes sense to have a bit of dancing footage captured like in that way. But it's not going to suit every couple, every wedding, every scenario. I wouldn't worry too much about stabilization and tripods and things. I always shoot handheld. Don't see a problem with this. I've got good IBIS in my cameras. I'm pretty steady handheld. And actually, you know, the way I've seen photographers using this effect, it is a bit sort of New York, Vogue, noir kind of vibes, and that's what's popular at the minute, and it's a bit jaunty, and it kind of, by shooting it handheld, it really adds to that effect. So there you go, they're the examples of where I've been using it. I think it's a really cool effect. The thing is, it's been around in filmmaking for decades, but it is certainly on trend at the minute. Photographers are loving it. It seems to be a bit of a trend for 2024, 25, and it's ideal for reels and content, something different, like I say, a bit of variety for your footage. So give it a go. And if you have already tried using it, let me know in the comments of where you're finding success with it, or any examples of where you've used it that you think would look cool. Any questions that you've got about this, let me know in the comments. But yeah, have a go. It's what it's all about, right? Creativity and just constantly evolving and testing ourselves and trying to think of different and new ways to tell a story within our wedding films. But it's just a really simple, easy, just flick of a switch way to just test yourself and stay creative. So I hope this was helpful, useful. Let me know how you get on, and I'll see you in the next one.